Exclamation mark. The exclamation mark, also sometimes referred to as the exclamation point, especially in the American English, is a punctuation mark usually used after an interjection or exclamation to indicate strong feelings or high volume, or to show emphasis, and often marks the end of a sentence, for example, watch out. Similarly, a bare exclamation mark with nothing before or after is often used in warning signs. Other uses include: in mathematics, it denotes the factorial operation. Several computer languages uses exclamation point mark at the beginning of an expression to denote logical negation. Example means the logical negation of A, also called the not A. This usage has spread to ordinary language. Example, clue means clue or clueless. Some languages use exclamation to denote a click consonant. History. Graphically, the exclamation mark is represented by variations on the theme of a full stop point with a vertical line above. One theory of its origin posits derivation from the Latin exclamation of joy, namely io, analogous to the hooray. The modern graphical representation is believed to have originated in the Middle Ages. Medieval copyists wrote the Latin word io at the end of a sentence to indicate expression of joy. Over time, the I moved above the O. That O first became smaller, and with time, a dot. The exclamation mark was first introduced in English printing in the 15th century to show emphasis, and was called the sign of admiration and exclamation, or the note of admiration, until the mid-17th century. Admiration referred to that word's Latin language sense of wonderment. Many pre-computer age typewriters did not have the exclamation mark. Instead, the user typed a full stop and then the backspaced and overtyped an apostrophe. Such typewriters often lacked a 1 key as well. The user typed a lowercase l. That is why the exclamation point is usually the shift plus 1, as both were added at the same time. Slang and other names for the exclamation mark. In the 1950s, secretarial dictation and the typesetting manuals in America referred to the mark as the bang, perhaps from comic book, where the exclamation appeared in a dialogue balloons to represent a gun being fired. Although the nickname probably emerged from letterpressing printing. This bang usage is behind the names of interrobang, an unconventional typographic character, and a shebang, a feature of Unix computer systems. In the printing world, the exclamation mark can be called a screamer, a gasper, a slammer, or a startler. In hacker culture, the exclamation mark is called bang, shriek, or in the British slang known as Commonwealth hackish, pling. For example, the password communicated in the spoken phrase, "Your password is M0PAIH pling in 3 is M0PH laminate in 3." Languages. The exclamation mark is common to languages using the Latin alphabet. Although usage varies slightly between languages, it has also been adopted in languages written in other scripts, such as languages written in Cyrillic or Arabic scripts, Chinese characters, and Devanagari. Excuse me. English. A sentence ending in an exclamation mark may represent an exclamation or an interjection such as wow, boo, or an imperative stop, or may indicate astonishment or surprise. They were the footprints of a gigantic hound. Exclamation marks are occasionally placed mid-sentence with a function similar to a comma, for dramatic effect. Although this usage is obsolete. Oh, the walk. Oh, there was a frightful noise. Informally, exclamation marks may be repeated for additional emphasis. That's great! But this practice is generally considered unacceptable in formal prose. The exclamation mark is sometimes used in conjunction with the question mark. This can be in protest or astonishment. Out of all places, the squatter camp? A few writers replace this with a single non-standard punctuation mark, the interrobang, which is the combination of a question mark and an exclamation mark. Overly frequent use of the exclamation mark is generally considered poor writing, for it distracts the reader and devalues the mark's significance. Cut out all these exclamation points. An exclamation point is like laughing at your own joke. F. Scott Fitzgerald. Some authors, most notably Tom Wolfe and Madison Akampora, are known for unashamedly liberal use of the exclamation mark. In comic books, the very frequent use of exclamation mark is common. For information on the use of spaces after an exclamation mark, see the discussion of spacing after a full stop. Several studies have shown that women use exclamation marks more than men do. One study suggests that in addition to other uses, exclamation marks may function as markers of friendly interaction, for example by making hi or good luck seem friendlier than simply hi or good luck with periods. However, use of exclamation marks in contexts that are not unambiguously positive can be misinterpreted as indicating hostility. In English writing and office subtitles, an exclamation mark symbol with parentheses implies that a character has made an obviously sarcastic comment. Ooh, our sarcasm detector. That's really useful invention. It also used to indicate surprise at one's own experience or statement. French. In French, next to the marking exclamations or indicating astonishments, the exclamation mark is also commonly used to mark orders or requests. Viens ici. In English, come here. A space, petite space, is used between the last word and the exclamation mark in European French, but not in Canadian French. One can also combine an exclamation mark with a question mark at the end of a sentence where appropriate. German. German uses the exclamation mark for several things that English conveys with other punctuation. It is used at the end of imperative sentences even when not particularly emphatic. Ruf mich morgen ein. Call me tomorrow. A normal full stop, as in English, is fairly common but is considered substandard. A related use is on signs that express a command or interdiction. Betreten, verboten. No trespassing. The exclamation mark may also be used in the salutation line of a letter. Lieber Heinz, dear Hans, or lieber Hans. However, the use of a comma is equally correct and is more common. Cantonese. Cantonese has not historically used dedicated punctuation marks, rather relying on grammatical markers to denote the end of a statement. It just started to rain. Anyways, usage of an exclamation mark is common in written Mandarin and in some Yu-speaking regions. The Canton and Hong Kong regions, however, generally refused to accept the exclamation mark as it was seen as carrying with it unnecessary and confusing Western connotations. Wow, I didn't know that. I'm actually learning something. However, an exclamation mark including some written representations of colloquy in Cantonese, can be used informally to indicate strong feelings. For example, to represent a response of someone surprised by a gift. One could write, the hell, Zeg 6, thanks. In Greek. In modern Greek, the exclamation mark "thavmostiko" has been introduced from Latin scripts and is used identically, although without the reluctance seen in the English usage. A minor grammatical difference. Oh, that. Oops. Oh. An interjection should only be separated from an extended exclamation by comma. Man, I cannot read this. Okay. Chetchasa te mati tis cocinas nochi tu. Oops, I left the stove on. Hungarian. In Hungarian, an exclamation mark is put at the end of exclamations, imperative or prohibitive sentences, and sentences expressing a wish. This zip, how beautiful. Efore lipni tilus, do not step on the grass. Barksak sik vrolini intervim, if only my plan worked out. The use of the exclamation mark is also needed when addressing someone, and addressing is a separate sentence, typically at the beginning of letters. Kedvis Peter, dear Peter. Greetings are also typically terminated with an exclamation mark. Good evening. Spanish. In Spanish, a sentence or clause ending in an exclamation mark must also begin with an inverted exclamation mark. The same also applies to the question mark. ¿Estás loco? ¿Casta le matas? Are you crazy? You almost killed her. As in British English, a bracketed exclamation mark may be used to indicate irony or surprise at a statement. Dice que esta noche no va a salir de fiesta. He said that he's not going to a party tonight. Such use is not matched by inverted opening exclamation mark. Turkish. In Turkish, an exclamation mark is used after a sentence or phrase for emphasis, and is common following both commands and the addresses of such commands. For example, in the Ojular, Ik hedevets kadens dir eliri. Armies, your first target is the Mediterranean. Ordered by Ataturk or Jular, the armies, constitute the address. It is further used in parentheses after a sentence or phrase to indicate irony or sarcasm. Sok içi bir iş yaptın? You've done a very good job. Not. Limbu. Where is limbu? In limbu, an exclamation mark is used after a limbu sentence or phrase for emphasis, and is common following both commands and the addresses of such commands. For example, in the limbu sentence, Paso Goafa Kokahasa Mediterranean South Susana. Armies, your first target is the Mediterranean. It is further used in parentheses after a sentence or phrase to indicate irony or sarcasm. Rokatha masala pai yancha gakaha. You did a very good job. Not. Phonetics. In Khoisan languages, the International Phonetic Alphabet, the exclamation mark, is used as a letter to indicate postal voliere click sound, represented as Q in Zulu orthography. In Unicode, this letter is properly coded as U plus O1C3, Latin letter retroflex click, and distinguished from the common punctuation symbol U plus OO0021. Exclamation mark to allow the software to deal properly with word breaks. The exclamation mark has sometimes been used as a phonetic symbol to indicate that a consonant is ejective. More commonly, this is represented by an apostrophe or a superscript glottal stop symbol, U plus 020, little question mark at the top, modifier letter glottal stop. Proper names. Although not part of a dictionary words, exclamation mark appears in some brand names and trade names, including Yum, brands, parent as fast food chains like Taco Bell and KFC, and web services Yahoo and Joomla. It appears in titles of stage and screen works, especially comedies and musicals. Examples include the game show Jeopardy! In the 60s, musical, the TV show Shindig, musicals Oklahoma, Oliver, and Oh Calcutta, the movies Airplane, and Moulin Rouge. Writer Elliot S. Maggin and cartoonist Scott Shaw include exclamation marks in their names. In 2016, the United States presidential campaign Republican candidate Jeb Bush used Jeb as his campaign logo. Place names. The English town of Westward Ho, named after the novel by Charles Kingsley, is the only place name in the United Kingdom that officially contains an exclamation mark. There is a town in Quebec called Saint Louis du Ha-Ha, which is spelled with 2 exclamation marks. The city of Hamilton, Ohio, changed its name to Hamilton in 1986, but neither the United States Board on Geographic Names nor map makers Rand McNally recognized the change. The city Ostrava, Czech Republic, changed its logotype to Ostrova in 2008. Warnings. The exclamation mark are used to emphasize a precautionary statement. On warning signs, an exclamation mark is often used to draw attention to a warning of danger, hazards, and unexpected. These signs are common in hazardous environments or in potentially dangerous equipment. A common type of this warning is a yellow triangle with a black exclamation mark, but a white triangle with a red border is common on European road warning signs. I just read that without even understanding it. Okay, let me focus. Mathematics and formal logic. Oh, hell. This is going to be freaking boring. Mathematics and formal logic. In mathematics, the symbol represents the factorial operation. The expression n means the product of the integers from skip, 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 skip. Video games. The exclamation mark can be used in video games to signify that a character is startled or alarmed. In Metal Gear and Paper Mario series, an exclamation mark appears over enemies' heads when they notice the player. In massively multiplayer online games such as World of Warcraft, an exclamation mark hovering over a character's head indicates that they are offering a quest for the player to complete. In Dota 2, an exclamation mark is shown above the head of a unit if it is killed by means not granting enemies experience or gold if it is denied. In 2005 arcade dance simulation game in the Groove 2, there is a song titled exclamation mark, also referred to as Bang by the artist Onyx. Internet culture. In recent internet culture, especially where lead is used, multiple exclamation marks may be affixed with the numeral 1, as in exclamation, 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 111. The notation originates from a common error when typing multiple exclamation points quickly. The typist may fail to hold the Shift-1 combination that produces the exclamation mark on many keyboard layouts. This error, first used intentionally as a joke in the leet linguistic community, is now an accepted form of exclamation in leet and derivative dialects such as lol speak. Some utterances include further substitutions, for example, exclamation, exclamation, 1111, 111. In fandom and fan fiction, exclamation mark is used to signify a defining quality in a character, usually signifying an alternative interpretation of a character from a canonical work. Examples of this would be Romantic Draco or Vampire Harry from the Harry Potter fandom. It is also used to clarify the current persona of a character with multiple identities or appearances, such as to distinguish Armor Al from Human Al in a work based Full Metal Alchemist. The origin of this usage is unknown, although it is hypothesized to have originated from with certain Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles action figures, for example, football player Leonardo, rockstar Raphael, and breakdancer Michelangelo. Comics. Some comic books, especially superhero comic books of the mid 20th century, routinely use the exclamation point instead of the period, which means the character has just realized something, unlike when the question mark appears instead, which means the character is confused, surprised, or they do not know what is happening. This tends to lead an exaggerated speech in line with the other hyperroles common in comic books. A portion of the motivation, however, was simply that a period might disappear in the printing process used at the time, whereas an exclamation point would likely remain recognizable even if there was a printing glitch. For a short period, Stan Lee, as editor-in-chief of Marvel Comics, attempted to curb their overuse by a short-lived ban or exclamation points altogether, which led to an inadvertent lack of ending punctuation in many sentences. Comic book writer Elliot S. Maggin once accidentally signed his name with an exclamation due to the habit of using them when writing comic scripts. It became his professional name from then on. Similar to comic artist Scott Shaw has used the exclamation point after his name throughout his career. In comic books and comics in general, a large exclamation point is often used near or over a character's head to indicate surprise. A question mark can similarly be used to indicate confusion. Chess. In chess notation, exclamation mark denotes a good move. 2 exclamation mark denotes an excellent move. A question mark and an exclamation mark denotes a dubious move, and a exclamation mark and question mark denotes an interesting, risky move. In some chess variants, such as large board shogi variants, exclamation mark is used to record pieces capturing by stationary, feeding, or burning. Scrabble. In Scrabble, an exclamation mark written after a word is used to indicate its presence in the official tournament and club word list, but its absence from the official Scrabble player's dictionary, usually because the word has been judged offensive. Baseball. Exclamation points or asterisks can be used on scoreboards to denote a great defensive play. Popular music. The band, pronounced chick chick chick, uses exclamation points as its name. In 2008, the pop-punk band Panic at the Disco dropped the exclamation point in its name. This became the most discussed topic on fan message boards around the world. In 2009, the exclamation mark was reinserted following the band's split. The band bombed the music industry, utilizes the exclamation mark in its name as well as several album and song titles promotional material. Examples include their songs Shut Up the Punks and the album Adults, Smart, Shit Hammered, and Excited by Nothing. American musician Pink stylizes her stage name Pink and uses 3 exclamation points in the subtitles of her 2010 release Greatest Hits So Far. Television. The exclamation mark was included in the title Dinah Shore TV series Dinah. The exclamation mark was later the subject of bitter argument between Elaine Bennis and her boyfriend Jake Jarmel in the Seinfeld episode Sniffing Accountant. Elaine got upset with Jake for not putting an exclamation mark at the end of a message about her friend having a baby. Jake took extreme exception to the trivial criticism and broke up with Elaine, putting an exclamation mark after his parting words, "I'm leaving." And I cannot read all this, and here's the references. And that's it for exclamation mark.